There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if I fall. I'm falling fast, sitting here praying that this night's gonna last. You got it all on tap, I'm loving your vibe, always have your back. We like all the same tracks, listen all night in the sheets all black. Said I'm falling fast, don't remember life before you, that's facts. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if I fall.
Hey, party people! Happy Saturday! Darren here from Auto Fetish Detail. I'm thrilled to be with all of you. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Sean, partner in crime from Shine Like a Pro AZ. Sean, say hello to everyone, would you?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Darren. Your intros are getting better and better, Darren.
I try to
Yeah.
deliver, Sean.
That was good. You're a very good entertainer. So, if you're new here, to this live stream,
You should see me with my clothes off.
I don't like it that much. So, if you're new to this channel or new to the live stream, make sure you guys check out Darren's channel. He's from Auto Fetish Detail. He's been detailing for 30 plus years. He's I believe he's a true OG of detailing, and he's got tons of videos and tons of information.
Emphasis on old.
Yeah, older. And then I'm Sean with Shine Like a Pro AZ. My channel is about cliff notes of Darren's channel. So if you want the information, but you don't want to wait for the longer video, come check out my channel, where my channel is the compact version of his. And finally, we have a special guest today. His name is Jeff. He's with Top Star Idol Detailing, and he is newer, but to the industry, but he seems to know his game. So if you guys want to check out his channel is right here. And finally, make sure you hit the subscribe button for all three of our channels, and don't forget to like, share, and spread the detailing knowledge. And back to you, Darren.
Well done, Sean.
Thank you.
And welcome, Jeff. We are glad to have you here. And yes, well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great intro.
So we've got a few people already chiming in.
Yeah.
There's
We
a
actually
new one,
got-
Scoofy.
Actually,
What's
a
that,
lot-
Sean?
A lot of people in right now. A lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm wow. Okay, I'm impressed. Let's go through it.
I just posted it to my YouTube,
Okay,
so
wow.
should
Yeah.
be getting some people on here.
It's jumping on. Yeah.
What's up,
Screw
Screws-oo?
you.
What's up, Screws-oo?
Screws you, man.
Yeah.
No, screw you. Yo. Crazy detailing. There's a third. I don't think we've seen any of these Sigma detailing. Who all coming?
I think these are from Jeff's channel.
I suspect they are.
Yeah. So
Who all did you invite?
there you go. You know who that is, Darren.
Excuse me. What's that?
You know who that is.
Yes, James the Tyrant Terminator. Welcome back,
What's up,
Men
Daryl?
of Culture. Salute. Men of Culture. Wow. I'll take that, Mark. Jeff the Goat. And let's go, Jeff. It's Guero. Do you know Guero Jeff?
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Not personally, but I know him from the
Yeah.
channel.
And are you pretty active as far as getting back to people on your channel, Jeff?
I get back to
Yeah.
100% of every comment that comes in.
And how
yeah.
long will that last? Careful what you wish for,
It
my man.
depends. I mean, I'm going to try to stay on top of it as much as possible. I really enjoy, speaking with the subscribers and just kind of hearing their stories and a bit about their journeys as well
Yeah.
too. So one of the things I really enjoy most about the YouTube channel is being able to connect with the other detailers out there.
And would you say that there's a theme that you could think of? Meaning, let me just set a little context for the moment. You and I have never met. This is the first time you and I are speaking. I know a little bit about your history because I watched a couple of videos on your channel, and Sean has educated me a little bit about your history. So that's a little foundation for the two of us. But with that said, because you seem to be, and I recall those days where I was very active with my subscribers and I could engage with them. And there obviously becomes a tipping point where you could spend your entire day and that'd become a full-time plus a part-time job trying to keep up with everyone. But would you say there's a theme as far as, and I get a lot of people just want to reach out and kind of connect with you, but as far as questions go, that people ask you on your channel specifically, is there anything that comes to your mind?
I mean, the questions are kind of all over the place. A lot of it depends on the video that I'm posting
Sure.
too. It's usually in some relation to the content in the video.
Okay, how about this?
Yeah, so there's not really
How
any.
about if, and I'm answering these questions in my head as I'm asking yourself, but do you have a bit of a consensus as to whether it's more do-it-yourselfer hobbyists, just dabblers, we could call them, whatever, as opposed to guys that are
I
already
would
in the
say,
business or thinking about getting into the business?
yeah, I would say it's probably like 90 to 95% detailers that are already in the business at some level, whether they're just getting started out or been in the business for a while and maybe like a little bit more advanced
Yeah.
level. Not too many do-it-yourselfers on there. The channel's kind of really more dedicated to those people that already have their detailing business or are thinking about jumping into the detailing business. And any way that I can help them or serve them, get started with their journey
Right.
and be able to answer any questions that they have that might shortcut some of their time frame for learning.
Well, let me ask you this, because I can't really say the same, meaning, let me back up a little bit. What you mentioned is valid, as in the content of the video will largely dictate the kind of comments you get, as far as a do-it-yourselfer that's looking for a one-time moment solution to their problem versus guys that
Hmm.
are thinking about it or have recently started their own detailing business. So I can relate to that. But with that said, I was very surprised at how many guys are out there. And this goes, I would even say this predates my YouTube channel, which would be my websites, that I was surprised how many guys out there were interested in detailing as a business. I really just thought my audience was going to be mostly just, car owners, guys looking to figure out how to do things on their own car. So I know that was a pleasant rude awakening for me. Like, how many guys are really into it and want to start it themselves?
Yeah.
So is there one thing, and I added that beginning as far as you and I never spoken, which also means that you and I did not go, we're not working off any kind of script. I did not deliver you a preset of questions that I'd be asking you. So I'm pulling these questions out of my own experience. So that means that you will have not had any time to prepare for any questions that I throw into your lap. But
Making me nervous here. Making me nervous.
There's no reason to be
No,
nervous.
no, it's all good, man. Like I said, I'm 100% transparent, so you can feel free to ask me anything you want regarding anything you want.
Yeah, which
So
is interesting.
I'm an open
Good,
book.
good. I like that. And what's interesting is that's because I have been in this business for a very long time, and I have rubbed shoulders with a lot of other detailers. And like any industry, there's a lot of it that just really rubs me the wrong way. And it just really goes to human nature in general, which is, everyone maintains appearances to some degree. But when you have the ability to look behind the curtain, as in their curtain of their life, it can be really a rude awakening in a bad way. And I'm not fond of that. And what I'm getting at is that I've got nothing to hide myself. It doesn't mean I want to lay out my entire world for the world, but I've got nothing to hide. Therefore, I'm going to be very genuine, and it's a good position to be in, unlike some of these people that I've spoken to where they actually do have something to hide, and so they can be less, that they can't be as genuine. So I value that a lot as a person. With that said, is there a single thing? So let's pretend that I am out in audience land and I'm thinking about detailing. I've worked on my own cars. I just love doing it. But of course, there's some doubt in my head. Can I make it? I go onto YouTube. I see all these guys that seem to clearly have made it, but I'm not certain if I can make it. What would you tell me based on your experience? Is there a single, point of whatever that would be? What would you say?
Well, I think it starts off with your why, right? It's like, why do you want to get into the detailing business? If it's just because, you saw some YouTube videos and you saw some guys washing cars and think you're going to make a bunch of money, I would say that's not a good reason to jump in. You should at some level have a passion for the business, for detailing, something that you actually enjoy, and then you pursue your passion and then the money will follow with that. So I think it kind of starts with that. And then, what level do you want to go to with the business? Is it more of just a side gig that you're wanting to do kind of on the weekends, or is it something that you want to get into professionally full time and actually make a living out of doing, So it kind of starts with what your goals and what your intentions are, to develop that game plan of where you're going to go from there.
What would you say? And it could be one thing, could be five. Just go down the list as to what things about detailing. And to clarify for anyone that doesn't know your story or your situation, is you're a mobile detailer in Las Vegas, which are some pretty extreme environment. And by extreme, I mean the cold and the heat. You don't get much rain. You're not dealing with rain and really you're not really dealing with snow. You can get snow in the nearby mountains, but you're not really dealing with snow on the ground where you're at. So that's your situation. But what things about detailing as in a mobile detailer do you like best that works for Jeff as a person personally? What would be those things?
Yeah, I mean, I love being outdoors. I love being outside. I'd much rather be outside, even in those harsh conditions. I'd rather be out there than sitting in a cubicle somewhere in an office. That would just make me go insane. I just couldn't do it. So, even though it is like scorching hot to the, surface of the sun temperatures in summertime, and it can be freezing cold in the wintertime. You push through those couple months there where the conditions are really extreme.
Let me ask you on that
The rest of the
point.
year's pretty
No,
nice.
actually,
Yeah.
sorry guys, I'm gonna interrupt you really quick. Jeff, it looks like somebody just donated $5 to your channel.
Oh, that was really nice. Who's that? We got
Sheba Dog in a combat
Quorum?
position.
Quorum, Sheba Dog.
Cor-
All right.
So there you go. So
Quorum, my boy Quorum.
there you go. I mean, I cut you up. I just saw that. Being
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no worries. Hey,
I used to own a Sheba Dog.
The super sticker.
They're like the anti-dog,
Yeah.
by the way. Everything you think about
Yeah.
dogs, as far as a man's best friend, Shebas are like the anti-dog.
And before you keep going, somebody have a question here.
Do you want to
Just a question.
answer some of these
Yeah.
comments before we get too
Yes.
far
Yes.
along?
So here's
Where do you want to
this. I
start?
just put it on the screen.
That's for you, Jeff.
Okay. Why have I not pushed more mobile ceramic coating jobs? I actually do a pretty good amount of mobile ceramic coating jobs. I just did one today. I did 2 last week in the same day, which was a huge day for me. 2 ceramic coatings as well as 2 other details, all on the same day. It was a record-breaking day for me, just over 3,000 in one day. So, I do get a fair amount of ceramic jobs. I don't push ads or anything for them, but I do get a fair amount of those. I'd say probably between 4 to 6 per month. I probably will start pushing those a little bit more here in the future,
How are you
going
contending?
into
How do you
2025.
deal with being exposed to the weather when doing a ceramic coating?
Yeah, so
Like direct
temperatures like
sunlight, for
today was
example,
actually,
the wind, that type of stuff. How are you dealing with
yeah,
that?
yeah. So you're not going to be doing it in direct sunlight in the middle of the summer. It's just not an option. The panels are too hot. It just wouldn't work with the product. For those type of conditions, I'm usually working in the customer's garage, or I'll have them drop it off to me, and I'll do it in actually my personal location in my garage. This time of the year, it's not bad. I did one today. It was, nice and cool out there. It wasn't super windy or anything like that. So when the conditions are favorable, you can do them outside the same as you would do them
Yeah.
indoors, so it's not really an
And
issue.
what do you have one specific coating that you use, or do you have one brand that
I,
you
you
use, but
know, I,
different versions of their brand?
yeah, I've experimented around with a few different types. I keep coming back to the Geon Mo's Evo Synchro 2. I've just had really great results with it. It's super easy to apply. I put that on my last BMW and it lasted pretty close to 5 years. And that was washing it quite often, and sometimes it wasn't garage kept. So I can, say with confidence that it will last somewhere between 3 to 5 years. It's got a really good gloss to it. But I've experimented around with a few of them. But I keep coming back to that one for some reason.
What are your thoughts, Jeff? On somebody made a comment about this product right here, Diamond Body 18.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually received a sample for them a little while back where they wanted me to do a review on their product, which I'm happy to do at some point. It's just been really challenging for me. I'm like super busy, and you need a vehicle to do it on, right? So it's a tough thing with that. It's not like just testing out a product that's something like a tire shine or something like that, to where this is a semi-permanent product that's going to be on the vehicle for a long time. So for me to use that on a customer's vehicle that I've never actually tried it, you know what I mean? I'm not willing to experiment with their vehicle on that. So it is a little tricky with that. At some point, I'll find the scenario to actually do a review on it and make a video on that as well. I just got to have a vehicle to
Sounds
do
good,
it.
Jeff. So DJ JD, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
And then we
And how-
sorry, Darren.
That's
Jeff,
fine.
you just got another $5 super chat.
From Screwzoo.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Screwzoo, appreciate you, brother.
Do you want to answer?
He wants to know how to
Yeah.
become jacked like you, Jeff.
Get in the gym and put in the reps. It's it doesn't happen overnight. It's one of those things that like anything, it takes time. I've been training pretty consistently since I was 15, 16 years old, and it's something that it's a lifestyle for me. It's not something that I just do once in a while, but I enjoy it, not just physically, but mentally as well. It helps give me clarity, and I just, I feel better. It's a better quality of life when you're in shape. So, you only get one body, so I try to
Treat
take care
accordingly.
of it and treat it like it's gonna last you 100 years, and hopefully, hopefully it does.
What's your diet like, Jeff?
I eat fairly healthy, well balanced diet. I wouldn't say really, I don't really believe in diets, so to say. I was actually just speaking with a friend of mine on this, that there's really not diets that are like sustainable. It's more just about eating healthy on a regular basis, and eating a well balanced diet. Try to avoid those processed foods as much as possible, I do have a weakness for chocolate chip cookies, but it's not bad to eat that stuff in moderation once in a
Yeah.
while, but for the most part, I'd say my diet's like 80 to 90% whole foods and good quality food, and then I slack off 10 to 20% with some ice cream and cookies once in a while too.
So with a day like today, your schedule, and based on what you said, it's not going to be like this every day, but how do you fit in your workout times with your what seems to be a really busy schedule?
Yeah, with days like today, unfortunately, I can't get it in, There's some days where I got like a half day, or it's not too bad. If I wasn't doing this live stream, I might try to get in tonight, but by the time we're finished here and everything, it's just gonna, it's be a little bit later. So, but as long as I still get in there, I try to get in there between like 3 or 4 days a week. But when I go, I'm focused. I go hard when I'm there. I'm not the guy that's scrolling around on my phone for 5 to 10 minutes in between sets. It's like when I'm there, I'm all business, and I'm putting in the
Right.
work.
Here's a question. A quoting question.
Yeah, Jeff, when you're coating a car, do you coat the glass? And by glass, I mean
Yeah,
including the windshield.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. All of the glass is included with my ceramic coating packages. Um, I usually just use the Moe's Evo Synchro 2 for that as well. I have also used, I believe it's called Clearview. I'm not sure who makes it, but I've used that one as well. That's designed for glass. But that's another thing I like about the Moe's, is it works great on the glass too. So, it's just easy for all around the whole
And
I
what
was,
vehicle.
I
about
was,
paint?
sorry, Darren. Here's a Darren question.
Yeah.
You should have seen Darren back in the day, healthy and muscular as well. That's funny, James.
He's
Back in the
he's
day.
he's
So
still
I'm
looking
washed
he's
up
still looking
apparently.
pretty healthy, and yeah, he's still looking pretty healthy and muscular in the videos that I've seen of
Yeah, you
him
pull up
out
my
there
Instagram
recently.
page and you scroll down to some pictures, and you'll see what I'm looking like. I like to disguise it. Um, so what the Gion? What's the application process for the particular variety that you lean into, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, just do all the proper prep for the paint work, paint correction, panel wipe, and then it comes in, the little glass bottle, a little vial with the applicator, and I just put it on in like a hatch pattern in sections, and then just level it off with a leveling towel, and it's pretty similar to every other
Yeah.
ceramic coating product out there. They're all fairly similar, I
And
think.
what do you have a default setting as far as the paint correction steps you're going through, the products, pads? What are you doing as far as that correcting goes?
So I use Rupes for my polisher, and then a lot of their polishes, pads. I actually just went to the Kokemi training experience in San Diego this last week, which was a really amazing experience. If any of you guys get a chance to attend that, I would highly recommend it. Not just for the training of it all, and learning about the products and all that, but just to meet the other detailers. There's a great way to network and connect with some of the other detailers out there. I got to meet up with Josh V while I was out there, and then Sal and Joel from Details Official. It's just really good to connect with those guys in person. I've watched a lot of their content as well, and it's just fun. I enjoy that part of it, the networking part of it as well. But that being said, with the Coach Chemi products, I use a lot of their stuff as well with their heavy cut, and after going through the training with, the correction and their polishing. And I like the system that they have developed with the pads and the products that just all kind of go together. So I'll probably start integrating that more, moving forward into my
What
process.
product did you lean into more before Chemi?
Rupes, yeah, I was
Their
using their
polishes?
their
Yeah,
polishes and pads, pretty much their system for everything, and that's a good system too. It's nothing against
right.
it, but um,
I
yeah.
suspect both of those manufacturers have their own version of a ceramic coating. Is that correct, or do they not? Do you know?
I don't know if Rupes does or not. I know Kokemi does. They had that at the training, and theirs is a 3-year ceramic. So, for me, I'm kind of leaning more towards the ceramic products that can get up to that 5-year marker because it's like I don't offer like multiple levels of ceramic coating where like some of these guys are like, oh, I have this one that lasts 2 years and I only charge 400 for that, or I have one that lasts 5 years and I charge 1,000. Like for me, that doesn't make any sense. You're going to do all of the same work, all of the prep work is going to be the same. So why in the world would you put on a coating that's only going to last a couple years because you're going to charge the customer less? That just does makes no sense to
Yeah,
me at all. If I'm going to put in the work, then I'm going to use the top quality product and I'm going to get paid for my time to make
yeah.
sense.
And do you recall when you first went out? Like maybe you could set the stage as to how you ended up in Vegas. Kind of like which came first. You found yourself in Vegas and you thought, you know what? I want to start a detailing business, or I want to start a detailing business. Therefore, I want to start it in Vegas and I'm going to move to Vegas.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I was so basically I was in Hawaii up until COVID, and
Which
then
part?
the place that I was in
Yeah.
Oahu, and the place that I was working at, I was a sales director for a company out there. They didn't reopen after COVID. They chose to basically close up, and I was out on the island, and then didn't really have a job. And as you know, like Hawaii is a pretty expensive place to be living on. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do at that point. So I ended up moving over to Spain, over to Ibiza, Spain, and I spent a couple years out there traveling and exploring the coast of Spain and London and some other areas out there. Just took some time to kind of regroup and figure out really what direction I wanted to kind of go in my life. And after being out there for a while, I was really contemplating like, what I got to do. I know I had to go back to the US, at some point, and just the thought of like getting a resume together and start sending it out to, potential employers, it just was making me like depressed, man. It was really like crushing my soul, to like sit there and like sharpen up this resume that like I really didn't even want to send out. Um, and I was just really doing some soul searching as to the things that made me happy and what I enjoyed and what I could potentially do with the skill set that I had that I could make a decent income and still be happy. And I made a video about this a while back, but I was reflecting back on my earlier days when I was younger and detailing the cars in the driveway with my dad and just some of the talks that we would have out there. And it was really just a great time for me. I enjoyed those times. And I remembered back to detailing and how it was always brought me this like sense of peace while I was doing it. And I found it very like therapeutic. And, my dad always had a real love for cars and passion for cars. And ironically, my mom had an OCD for cleaning, right? She's like one of the type that's always like vacuuming up the footsteps and the rug behind
Yeah.
everybody and wiping the table if you put a drink down under it. And so I think some of her OCD cleaning, disorder along with my dad's passion for cars, and I was thinking to myself like, hey, what about detailing? I had kind of tinkered around with that when I was younger, and had us like I don't even know if you could call it a detailing business, but washing people's cars for money back in the day, and not much money. But I started looking into that, and started, checking out some YouTube videos on it. And the more I dug into it, the more I researched into it, the more I started to get inspired about the potential of actually doing that full time. And so, I came up with the business plan actually while I was in Spain. And I had my stuff in storage here in Las Vegas already. So I was going to have to come to Vegas no matter what when I get back to the States. And so I was thinking, hey, like Vegas could be a great potential market. The weather's favorable there year round. There's, a high dense population of affluent people here where, we've got about 3 million people within a 40-mile square radius. So all the boxes were getting ticked as for this to be the potential headquarters for the business, I guess you could say. So, I really put some time into developing the business plan. I basically had everything ready to go when I was in Spain. I developed the whole business plan, the name, everything while I was there. And then I'm like, just come back to Vegas and hit the ground running. As soon as I got back, it was jump right into it and get going.
So clarify for someone that's on the sidelines wanting to find themselves in your situation, what was the very first way that you started to get customers? What literally did you do?
Yeah, so that's a great question too. I know it's probably something that almost everybody struggles with as a new detailer out there. It's probably their biggest challenge. For me, like right off the bat, I had already had my website built and Google page from day one. So like that was ready to go because I knew the SEO would take, a few months for it to really get going and get traction for that. I had my trailer wrapped right from the get-go from day one too. So I started get business off the trailer wrap pretty quickly, just driving it around Vegas. It got a lot of eyeballs on it. In the very beginning, I was going kind of the old school route of passing out flyers, but I wasn't going door to door. I was going to like really high end, like fitness centers, really nice restaurants, grocery store parking lots, like stuff like Whole Foods, where, you're going to find that upper class clientele, the people that can afford, a couple $100s a month on a gym membership. Those are your ideal clients that you want to target. So I would go and flyer those parking lots, and I started getting calls, a couple out of every 100 flyers, I would get a couple calls and book a couple appointments. And then it started just getting kind of word of mouth. I would ask those people for referrals. I got reviews from everybody, that I was doing. I made it a point to get going with that. So I was accruing the reviews really quickly, and then that started affecting my SEO to where then the phone started ringing, off the website and off Google.
And how did you approach people
that
with, like, so for example, I didn't do a deep enough dive into your world. When you say reviews, you said Google, but do they do what's the big review place? Do they do that in Vegas? The help me out, Sean. What's the review site? Yelp.
Yelp?
Thank you. I assume that
No.
Yelp's in Vegas, correct?
They're nationwide.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So when you say
Yeah.
reviews, did you lean into Google or Yelp, and which one, and what does that conversation look like when you're with a customer?
Sure. So, I went with the mentality of like myself, when I'm searching for a service, what do I go through? I go through Google. Personally, I don't really use Yelp for anything. And I think like 95% of the population uses Google. It's the largest search engine out there. So I put the majority of my focus into Google. I did still set up a Yelp account because, I wanted to have as many hooks in the water as possible. But I put the majority of the review focus when I was asking customers for reviews, it was through Google. And at the end of every service, I do a final walkthrough with them, make sure they're 100% satisfied. And, I would just ask them, I said, would it be okay if I send you a link to my page, if you wouldn't mind posting me a review? As a new business owner, it really helps me to reach new customers in the area, keeps my phone ringing, and keeps me working. And I got a really good return, on the people. They wanted to help me out. I established a good relationship with I treated every person like they were my only customer, so it was like we built that rapport and that friendship, and, they really wanted to help me and get my business going. So,
Sounds like you were very proactive about it, and that's something when I'm mentoring a guy, it's because detailing can attract a lot of personalities, a lot of which what you've already identified with is not working in a cubicle. Because a lot of what you said, I totally relate to. It's like the thought of working in a
mhm,
cubicle all day in an office setting might as well be prison for me. There's no way I'm going to deal
exactly.
with that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the assertive, outgoing, gregarious type of individual, which means you might be on anxiety overload just knowing that you've got to perform in the way of detailing. Never mind, like, oh, wait, I have to ask a customer to give me a review. Well, what if they don't really like me that much? Or what if they only give me a 3-star review and I really want a 5-star? And so all that can be a real mind F for beginners, um, which is true. It is a valid point if you're
Mhm.
wired that way. But you do have to, in my opinion, anyways, and it sounds like you leaned into it, which is you need to be proactive and ask the people, hey, can I get a review from you? And you also, and I'm a big fan of this, is removing as many friction points as possible, which means like, hey, I'm going to send you a link. Just click on that link and you're good to go.
Really quick before we keep going, there's a lot of people on here, so I'm having a hard time keeping track of everyone. What I wanted to say to everyone, if you guys are watching this live, if you guys want to participate, it'd be very helpful if you can say to us like where you're at, what city and state or what country. Also, if you can tell us if you guys are a professional detailer, just starting out, or a DIY garage detailer.
Yeah. So it sounds like at the beginning you were very proactive, Jeff, as in you asked people point blank. Because I'm of the opinion if you left it up to people, um, it's kind of like the saying, if you mess up, everyone's so anxious to tell the world how you messed up and give you a bad review. But then when you do a great job,
Well, yeah,
there's like, well, how come you're not so anxious to, jump onto Google and tell me how great I did? And so I really think it's very important to be proactive on that.
sure. Well, reviews, you know, is it to ask for the review too, right? Like you can't just put in crappy work and not give them the customer service and then ask them for a review and expect anything positive out of it, right? So you actually have to
Yeah.
do quality work. You have to provide them with a high level customer experience, and make sure they're 100% satisfied. So at the end of every detail, I go through it with them and then I say, are you 100% satisfied? And I make them say, yes, I'm 100% satisfied. Once they tell you that they're 100% satisfied, I can guarantee you that they're never going to leave you a bad review because they just told you they're 100% satisfied, right? So how could they? They might not leave you any review, but they're not going to leave you a bad review. So that's one good thing.
Yeah.
But you have to earn that right to ask for the review. Then like you said, make it simple for them. Say, hey, would it be okay if I send you a link later? Not I'm gonna send you a link later. Would it be okay if I send you a link later? And then would you mind posting me a review? It really helps me out. And then, it's all in the setup and your approach. But again, you have to earn it with quality work and high level customer service.
See, the problem is, and I completely agree. The problem is as a beginner, you're going to question your quality of work because you're a beginner. And so
Hmm.
unless you've worked with someone else or trained with someone else, and even if you have trained with somebody else, doesn't mean that somebody else trained you how to really deliver excellent service and
Hmm.
excellent craftsmanship. Because I've met many of guys like that. In fact, I know many successful detailers I shouldn't say many. I know a handful. I know enough to know that there is a theme that quality of work is subjective. And so one man's version of quality work is another man's version of not so good. And that's what I mean is I've seen other detailers work and their workmanship. And it's like, okay, if I was your customer, based on what you're telling me you charge, I probably would not be happy. I'd be okay, as in I probably wouldn't take the time to leave a negative review by any means, but I certainly am not going to bounce on Google to leave a marginal review because it's just not worth it at that point. So that's what's tough as a beginner is it's hard to be critical of your own work and know that your work is truly exceptional enough to where you have the confidence to ask because you're going through that learning curve. And so I empathize with beginners, and it is a tough deal. And I think this is also because of your age. You have life experiences and you've worked other jobs, you have people skills. And I think when you're young and you don't have those, but you have this passion for detailing and you want to start out, you might be a little more, insecure as far as your ability to deliver superior service and craftsmanship.
I think
Uh,
that's why it's so important to do that final walkthrough with the customer, because even though if you're not sure about the work, they're going to tell you at the end when you do that final walkthrough. You could say, "Hey, I think I got everything. I'm 99% sure I got everything, but hey, sometimes I miss something. So let's take a walk through, and don't be shy. If you feel that there's something that I missed, I'm happy to touch that up for you while I'm here. I want to make sure that you're 100% satisfied before I go." So that's why it's so important to do that and get that feedback from the client while you're still there, because they're going to let you know, hey, if you miss something, then here's the time to fix that and address it, right? So you do have the opportunity to do the 5-star work before you leave, but it's up to you to make sure that they're good and do that before you go.
Yeah, and that's a good point, and that's something that I have touched upon in numerous videos of my own because I wasn't formally trained by anyone. I had to just go out and figure it out. And
Hmm.
I've said in multiple videos that the best training I've gotten is from my own customers because every customer is truly unique. And what you find is that people have their little hot buttons. So most people can recognize what a clean car looks like, what a shiny car looks like. But what I found was curious is that most people have, and I call it their hot buttons, which is, oh, can you make sure to get the vanity mirror? The last detailer would never get it. Or can you make sure to clean out the ashtray? I don't smoke, but I use it as a garbage can, and the last detailer didn't get it. Or can you make sure you polish the exhaust tips? I just love walking out to my car and seeing my exhaust tips done. So there's all these things that I thought, oh my gosh, I actually never thought of that or that or that. And
That's
but
a great point, Darren. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I don't want the other detailers to miss this out there too. Because another important step would be in the beginning, ask them if there's any specific areas of concern that they want you to focus on, so you can address those specific things. Because, like you said, you could do a great job on the rest of the vehicle, but if you miss that one thing that was really a potential concern for them, then it's like the rest of the work doesn't matter, right? So that's a great point that you made there. Find out what their hot buttons are ahead of time going into it, so you can spend a little extra attention on those, and because that's the first thing they're going to look at when they come out, is to see if you've got that specific stain or whatever it is. And if that's good, they're most likely going to be good with the detail too.
yeah, and what you just illustrated was a preemptive approach, which is once again about being proactive, which
Hmm.
is, and I have a set script, and I teach this in my courses, a set script of anywhere from 5 to 10 questions that I work through with a person because as a mobile detailer, you're going to them, so people are calling you. You don't have the privilege of seeing their car firsthand, like if you owned a shop. If you owned a shop, you could say, "Oh, drive it in, and we'll do an inspection and give you a quote right then," or people would just stop by and get a quote in the moment. That's not really the life of a mobile detailer. So you have to go through this filtering process on the phone to see if you even are a good fit initially, which is, okay, did you look at my website? You know, no, I just got your number. How much do you charge? And it's like, okay, this is probably a price shopper. So you go through these series of questions to figure out if you are beginning to even be a fit as far as what type of quality of work they're looking for, what's their price point that they're willing to pay. And then when you get past that, then you can start asking more probing questions like, okay, why are you getting it detailed? You know, why now? Why not a year ago? Whatever. And so they'll give you information. And then one of those questions that I like to ask is, okay, is there anything I should know as a detailer that is a particular point for you that you want me to be fully aware of? You know, whether it could be a stain or something in general. And so you're asking those probing questions, and this all goes into what I call managing expectations. If you don't know what their expectations are, it's hard to manage them. Now you could say that, well, everyone expects a nice, clean, perfectly shiny, whatever car. It's like, yeah, they do, but everyone also has a different car and they use their cars differently. And there's going to be areas of that they're more concerned with. And you need to find that out before you actually touch the car. You don't wait till after, where you're standing there and it's time for the review and they immediately go over to this one area of the car inside of it that they did not talk about at the beginning because you didn't ask. And it will be, of course, the one spot that somehow you missed. And you're like, oh my gosh, if only I had asked. So what you illustrated was kind of a preemptive approach, which is you find out, hey, is there any areas of concern I should be aware of that you're more concerned with as a customer? Then at the end, and everything I'm telling you is nothing I knew when I started out. Like literally, I knew none of this, and I just had to learn the hard way. And that's why I say is that my customers, because I was good with customers as far as building rapport and trust with them, it wasn't really a problem. But they did teach me. They would be like, "Oh, did you get this?" Or and if I didn't, I'd be like, "Oh, you know what? I did not get that. Thank you for pointing it out for me. Let me get it right now." And that takes a lot of bravery at the beginning when you're, when you're first starting out and you're not used to working with people.
I like what you said, as far as asking the right questions on the phone. The person who's asking the questions is in control, right? So when someone calls me for a quote, I don't give them the price right away. I take over the conversation with starting to ask them questions, and the pricing will default to the end of the conversation. Because once you take control, tell me a little bit about your vehicle. Why do you want a detail? Why did you call me out of all the detailers out there? So it's taking that control by asking those questions, and those questions are going to give you the information that you need to determine whether it's going to be a good fit for you, and if it's something that you want to even move forward with. Sometimes I make the decision where I'm like, I don't think this is a good fit for me, whether regardless of the price or not. But I think the default for a lot of detailers is when someone calls them and say, "Hey, how much do you charge?" They just rattle off a price right from the beginning, and now you haven't built any value in your service and your detail, and you've limited it to just basically a price comparison. And you need to spend that time on there. You need to get proficient with speaking to people on the phones, and it doesn't do you any good if you spend the money on ads or marketing to get your phone ring, but you lose the business on the call. If you're not closing the leads on the call, then you're burning money in your business. So you really have to get proficient with talking to people both on the phone and in person. So very, very important part of your business to be able to perfect that skill set of speaking to people on the phone.
Yeah. Did you create any kind of script for yourself when you first started out, as far as, and I suspect based on your skills, it wasn't a script as far as what to say, but did you list out questions that you want to make sure you asked every individual? And did you create a hierarchy with it, which is like, okay, I'm going to start with these questions first. And if we continue, Then I ask these questions next. And then if we continue, then we get to the bottom, and that's when I can then deliver a price. But in the meantime, I've developed rapport with them, trust, friendliness, and value along the way. But did you
Yep.
have any type of set script like that?
Not necessarily a set script, but you just hit on three of the main things that I covered in another video that have to be present on every call in order to close the sale. And that's trust, value, and urgency, right? So you have to have those three things present in order to basically close that customer. So I had kind of like a bullet pointed out of, like you said, the things that ideally you want to cover in each call, not necessarily a script. But I find the best thing to do is just to disarm them right from the very beginning, and just when they call you, just start off with like, "Hey, how's your day going?" And just get them to like lower their defense, their walls, and then you just start talking to them, like an actual person, and spend a little bit of time building the rapport with them first before you get into the packages and pricing. And if they're like, "Oh yeah, it's got some dog hair." "Oh cool, like what kind of dog do you have? Tell me." And like
Right.
just get to know them a little bit, because if you can get them to feel like you're a friend on the phone, it's so much easier at the end when you're talking about pricing. The price isn't really the issue at the end anymore. It's whether they trust you, they trust what you're telling them, they see you as an authority in the space. You've built value in your packages. It does have to make sense. I mean, your pricing does have to be on point to the service that you're offering. And then you need to create a little bit of urgency at the end. So that's really important. People leave that out, where if somebody's like, "Hey, all right, that's cool, I'm going to think about it." "Okay, well, I typically book up, 3 to 4 days in advance. So I have this spot open and this spot open. It'll probably most likely be filled up by the end of the day. So if you want to lock that in, just get back to me as soon as possible." Or if they've mentioned something like, "I've got a spill in my car," or bird poop on their car. "Okay, well, you want to get that out as soon as possible, because that spill over the next couple days is going to start to smell. It's going to be more difficult to get out, and it could end up costing you more money." So just pepper in that urgency at the end, and that's going to help them to make a decision and take that step forward. So if you build those three things into every call, the trust, value, and urgency, you're going to see your closing percentages go up exponentially, if you can incorporate that into your calls.
And the other thing I was going to say real quick, I didn't mean to cut you guys off because we're running out of time. We have a lot of questions and comments.
Yeah, you want to get to some of those?
So I figure we start going through them. Yeah, so that way
do you want to go
through,
Sean, and pick out the questions, and we'll just start answering them?
Yeah. So I got a couple of things here. Do you, Darren or Jeff, you want to read that aloud? Or
sure.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, there's no mystery there.
Okay, so then we got all right, so then we got one second. Got thrown off a little bit. Oh, here we go.
New YouTube video ideas coming out. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of new content. I've got some stuff coming out from the Coach Kemi experience over the last week. So we got a lot of content coming out on that. I've got a day in the life of a detailer coming out. There's a bunch of new stuff. We're going to be recording a lot over the next couple months. And then it just takes a while for the editing process, to get it dialed in to the point where it's ready to go. But I will be having at least a minimum of one new video per week, possibly two, if I can stay on that schedule.
Who's your sidekick, Jeff?
Right,
I noticed in your videos, it's like someone's following you and interviewing. Who is this person?
Yeah, so Quorum, he's someone that I recently hired. He's going to be moving out to Las Vegas from Texas. Originally, we were looking into potentially opening up a territory out there in Dallas, and he was going to run that market. But he's actually wanting to move out to Las Vegas. Now, I've got to the point where I'm booked out a week in advance consistently. My price is pretty much at the peak point of what I can charge without it getting too obnoxious. So I'm going to build out a whole second mobile unit. He's going to help me, running the second mobile unit, and then he's also going to be doing some filming, editing, and helping me with a lot of other things too. So,
What's your competition like out in Vegas?
I mean, I like to say that I'm my only competition. I mean, there are other competitors in the market, but I feel like the bar's set pretty low for the most part. There are a few big players out here in the detailing industry that put in the grind and they put in the work, and they've been in business for a while. I don't think there's too many people that are putting in the amount of hours and time and everything that I am, with the exception of a couple other guys that uh that I know out there.
Uh, do you have a problem with unskilled laborers that flood your market and are low prices?
I mean,
Because here in California,
so
it's a
so
huge
yeah,
deal.
so that's a great point, Darren. I got that actually when I was starting the business. A lot of people were like, the market's so saturated, you shouldn't start a detailing business. There's just too many of them. You won't make any money. And one of the things that I realized over the course of starting my business is, yes, it's very saturated, but it's saturated with basically people who have set the bar really low and don't really put in the effort as a business owner to run their business at a level, um, that I've got mine set up and where I'm running mine. So it makes it, I don't want to say easy, but it makes it pretty easy for me to move up, up
Right.
through the market and kind of, I don't want to say dominate the market out here, but I can't think of a better word really.
Yeah. Nice. Sean, are you going to throw up more questions, or do you want me to keep
Yeah.
plugging
Well,
away?
I just want you guys to get some shout outs so some people are saying
All
where
right.
they're from. So here we go.
St. Louis looking to start, not open yet. Yeah, Sigma
Yeah.
Detail. So tell us, Sigma, and we'll answer some other questions. And if you want to give us, but tell us why you have not started yet. Is there some specific things, or you're just find yourself being a fence sitter and you can't commit to it?
Right. That's good. Here's another one.
Lynchburg, 20 years detailing, pro, small mobile business owner, right on, Virginia. Lynchburg, you have to deal with the weather elements. No, thank you. In Virginia, DJ body 18 deal.
Oh wait, this
Yeah.
we already
Yeah.
talked about this. Sorry. I'm trying to filter the comments because a lot of comments are not questions. They're
Comments.
just like
Yeah.
they're just comments. Yeah. Oh, here we go. There, and this is for you.
Skip my comments. I'm just here to yap about nothing specific. Keep tabs on the legendary and the auto fetish, the auto detailer. Well, thank you, James.
There we go.
Been in Denver for years. I'm just starting my present D. I plan on building a company here, then moving to AZ for a few, then back to Hawaii. Nice. DIY helps. 4 years as a DIYer, 16 years as a professional. Well, that's a long grind. That's a long haul. Do you are you looking for an exit strategy at all, Jeff? Because how old are you? 51?
I'm 51. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had multiple offers on my business. It's not something that I'm looking to exit or sell. I actually really enjoy what I do. I love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else at this point. With that being said, I do want to scale back on the manual labor side of things, to where I can take more of a role like working on the business than just in the business. I do still want to detail, but more of a schedule of a normal schedule, like 40 hours a week out in the field, and just be able to focus on those high-end cars that I actually enjoy doing, like the one you see in the picture there, the Lambo, or those high-end cars. I don't want to be doing the soccer mom cars full of dog hair and all that stuff. I'll have other guys work it for me that can handle that stuff. I've definitely put in my share of those and my time of those, and it's just I don't enjoy I don't enjoy that type of detailing, but I definitely love detailing, and it's not something that I'm looking to get out of.
Do you?
Here's a sorry, Darren. Here's a question for you, Darren, and for
I just
Jeff.
but I don't know how to get clients. I got Google. Man, I could answer that in a lot of ways. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, it takes time, right? If you just started, think of it like this. It takes 9 months to make a baby, right? You can't do it in 2 or 3 months. You got to give it time. Google and website SEO takes a while. I would say if you don't have a professional SEO service, if your website is not optimized for SEO optimization, I would get a professional to look into that and code it properly so it is optimized for SEO.
I would say most
Yeah.
platforms, if you're going to build it yourself, virtually most platforms come with SEO, meaning they walk you through it. It's very basic. I mean, you can spend a fortune on it because it's one of those areas of life and business where everyone's got the secret. It's kind of like YouTube. It's like, oh, I know how to grow your channel, and these are the secrets you have to follow. It's like, oh, you mean the same secrets that everyone else is telling you that you have to follow? And so SEO, because I've been building websites for over 10 years now, and it was far more of a thing back then. But my point is that if you're gonna build your own website, which there's plenty of options, and you can do a good job, of course you're gonna have to know how to have a sense of style and a sense of writing. But most of them have what's called SEO plugins that you're not having to overthink it. Like, for example, if this guy was, if I was mentoring him, I'd say, like, hey, in simple terms, if you've got a website that looks professional, but you're not getting enough action, and then go out and old school it. That's a sure thing, which you talked about where you passed out flyers. And I
Mhm.
always looked, and I did the same thing. I went to places where I could tell people were spending money, gyms, hair salons, upscale grocery stores, um, cosmetic dentistry.
Or
What's
another one
that?
that works.
Yeah.
Another one that worked for me really well too was like what do you call those like golf
Yeah,
courses, like
clubs.
fancy ones, like that. Yeah, clubs. Yeah, because I will go there and they like cars. People
Yeah.
have really nice
It's
cars,
a hard question to answer,
and
not
that will work.
knowing what else you're doing out there. Like, I mean, if I had the choice, I would rather put the money into a wrap for my van or trailer than start spending it on ads. I think it's a much better spend. It's a one-time spend that's going to bring you customers for life, versus ads. It's like once you get on that hamster wheel, you got to keep feeding the ads or it dries up. So I try to look for those one-time spends like wraps or even your website. It's a one-time spend. If you're proficient in building that stuff, like Darren said, it's definitely not a strong point for me. I screwed around with trying to build my own website for weeks, and it just got really frustrated. It wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to look. It wasn't functioning the way that I wanted it to. And then I finally just said, what am I doing? I can just hire somebody to do this for $1,500 and go out and detail some cars and do what I do and make money, and let them do the
Yeah.
stuff that I'm not really proficient in. But if
That's
you're
a good
good at that
point.
stuff, then yeah, go for it. It is something you can do yourself.
Juice free.
I just want to say
What up,
What's up?
Juice
juice
Free?
free. Yeah, juice free. And then got a question here for Jeff.
What kind of water do you haul in your mobile trailer? Spot-free deionized water only. In Las Vegas, the water here is absolutely terrible. It will leave hard water spots all over the vehicles.
Yeah, it's horrid. It's horrid here where I live also. And do you have a place, Jeff,
Um,
that you go to that caters to basically detailers only, or is it a
Uh,
industrial
there's
place that
there's
caters to a lot of
multiple
people?
places here. They sell tokens. It's like $20. You get 6 tokens, and each token's 55 gallons of spot-free water. I also built out my system with a CR spotless system that can make its own spot-free deionized water. So if I do run out on site, I can fill up at a customer's, flip on the CR spotless, and then that will convert it to spotless water for me as well.
Yeah.
There's
Humberto, how you
there.
doing, buddy?
Late to the
Late.
party.
The not so first to the party guy, which is generally
Yeah,
always
yeah.
first. Humberto.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always first. And
Is this the quorum that you were referring to, Jeff? Iced
Yeah,
is
I'm not sure
bad?
what I think he's probably responded to someone else's message there or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing also.
yeah. Anyways, I just filtered as many as I could because there's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Keep
Here we
it
go.
going. Let's knock them out. Jeff thinks if you guys could pull it up. I don't know what that means. If he's trying to pull up a site for us to look at or something like that, or I don't know.
Oh, he was talking about. We'll probably do it in our
we're-
video, but he was asking earlier.
We're
check out
pretty
his
far
website.
into it at this point, so that could be one for another stream. I'm happy to jump on anytime with you guys, and we can dig in deeper into stuff like that if it's something you guys want to do.
Okay, you guys
Yeah,
want to
that'd be
wrap it up? I know, Jeff, you've had a pretty rough day in a good way. You said it's a new record for you today, correct?
Yeah, it's this month is the New Year's off to a great start for me. You know what I mean? I've been jamming pretty much nonstop, and that's even taken a few days off. And you know, hopefully most of you guys are out there crushing it. You know, if you're not where you want to be yet for the year, don't worry. We still got a long ways to go. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So, you know, try to stay positive and stay focused on your goals. One thing I'll say is don't spend so much time focusing on the end goal, but try to focus more on your daily habits and your routines that will get you to that goal. So focus on that stuff.
Good point. Well, Jeff, thank you for visiting us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that you guys invited me, and love to do it again sometime.
And Sean, thank you for your assistance once again. Back end guy, making sure this all comes together, and getting people like Jeff on the show. So thank you. And for our viewers, thanks for coming in, you party people, you party animals.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if you are party animals or not. Anyhow, but on the way out, if you could do us a favor, give it a like. We got to placate. We got to pander to the algorithms. So your participation helps us so that we can help you guys. Help me help you.
Yeah, that being said, any of my subscribers out there, if you guys are not subscribed to Darren's channel yet, check it out. He's got a lot of great content on there. I've been following him for a while. Definitely got some value out of his videos. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell on his channel as well.
Thanks, Jeff. All right,
awesome,
guys. We will see you next week.
Right,
same bat channel, same bat time.
Sounds
Peace out.
good.